really to do chuva 40 days is not enough. And also to teach about chuva 40 days is not enough. And a lot of people, when they really understand what it takes to do chuva, then it's a little bit overwhelming. But chuva, like I said, not once and not twice, is not just to put a yarmulke on and to come to shul. That's very nice that you do that, but chuva is a very long, detailed journey and a long process that a person needs to really take one step after the other. So there's a famous story that one time during Aseret Yamei Tshuva was sitting Rabbi Zusha from Manipoli, and with him was sitting a bunch of Hasidim, and he was awakening them up to do tshuva, and they were all kind of stressed. How can you do tshuva in one shot? It's impossible. So he told them, you're right, it is impossible to do tshuva in one shot. Therefore, tshuva can be broken into segments. And he took the word tshuva, and first of all, we have to understand where does it say in the Torah to do tshuva. So there's a verse in the book of Dvarim, chapter 4, verse Lamed, verse 30, that it says, "V'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha v'shamata b'kolo." The translation, you will return to the Lord your God and obey Him. This is where we learn from the Torah that we have to do tshuva. So while trying to explain how to do tshuva and breaking into segments, so he took the word tshuva and broke the 5 letters of tshuva to an acronym. And he said the way to do tshuva in segments, or to break it up, is to take the word tshuva and to see which letter hints on what part of the tshuva that we need to do. So imagine the word tshuva in your mind. We write it taf, shin, vav, bet, hey. And for that, he broke it down. He says there are 4 verses in Tanakh that teach us how to do tshuva when you need to break it into a lengthy process. So it says the taf stands for the pasuk, Tamim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha. This can be found in the book of Dvarim, chapter 8, verse 13. And the translation, be wholehearted with the Lord your God. Tamim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha. This is the first step in the process of tshuva. The next letter is Shin. Shin corresponds to the verse Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid. If you remember, we learned that a few weeks ago in the 40-day journey. This is a verse in Tehillim that can be found in chapter Tetzayin 16, verse 8. Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid, I have placed the Lord before me constantly. This is next step. You don't have to now try to grasp what he's praying, because we're going to go very thoroughly throughout these 5 stages. Now I'm just presenting them. The third one is the letter Vav for tshuva, and this corresponds to the verse Ve'ahavta le'reacha kamocha, which can be found in the book of Vayikra, chapter 19, verse 18. And the translation is, you should love your neighbor as you love yourself. This is number 3 stage in tshuva. Number 4 is the letter Bet from the word tshuva, which corresponds to the verse B'chol drachecha da'ehu. This can be found in the book of Mishlei, in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 6. And it means, know Him in all your ways. And the last of all is the Hey of tshuva, which corresponds to the verse Hatznea lechet im Hashem Elokecha. This is a verse from the book of Micha, chapter Vav, 6, verse 8. The translation, walk discreetly with your God. These are the 5 levels of tshuva. It's not the 5 levels. I would actually say it 5 segments that you can approach tshuva, not in one shot. Now we just threw in the air some verses that might or might not relate to you. You might get something from that or not. If you did get something from that, good. You're on the right path. If you didn't, then you'll have to stay tuned, where we're going to break each one a little bit more deeper to understand why the great Rabbi Zusha from Manipoli says that to do tshuva, you need to spread out to these 5 different channels, and these are the key how you start approaching the process of tshuva. The process of tshuva is not a simple process. It's probably not what you're familiar with, because unfortunately there's no real manual to tshuva. I told you I spent many years in 4 different yeshivot and nobody taught me how to do tshuva. They taught me how to learn, they taught me how to pray, they taught me many things, but how to do tshuva, unfortunately, there's not a laid out Shulchan Aruch for tshuva. That's what we're going to try to achieve in the next 40 days, is to bring some type of a roadmap how one should apply his or her time to do tshuva. But the most important to remember is when you start, that this is not something that you acquire not in a day, not in 40 days. If you're lucky, you can do it in 40 years. But if you have a roadmap, now in our days, people don't use maps. I'm going to tell my child, open a map, let's see our way somewhere. My children don't know what maps are. They know what Waze is. They know what's Google Maps. They don't know how to open a map. So when we were young, we went from point A to point B. You open a map and you plan your routes. You don't count on the ones on the sites where you're telling them, how do I get to Rehov Zhabutinsky? Well, go 3 lights down and... No, it's 2 lights. No, 3 lights. And then they make a right. No, a left. So you want to get to a destination, you need a very good map to get you to the next destination. Our destination, of course, is to do tshuva. So we're going to lay out the map in the next 40 days. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that will assist us to get to our point. But the key points to start, in order not to get overwhelmed, is these 4 verses. Tamim tiyeh Hashem Elokecha, you should be wholehearted with your Lord, with the Lord your God. Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid, I have placed the Lord before me constantly. Ve'ahavta lecha kamocha, you should love your neighbor as you love yourself. Bechol derachecha da'eo, know him in all your ways. Hatzniya lechet im Hashem Elokecha, walk discreetly with your God. Write these 4 verses on a piece of paper and glue it to the wall, or put it as your screen saver, that's how you call it, the screen thing on your phone. And you don't have to write it down, we'll put it underneath the video on the webpage so you can see it. And this is going to be the general stops where we're going to go from one stop after the other, which of course there are many things to do. This is not the only things. And Be'ezrat Hashem Bli Neder, we will break down what it means each and every one of them. But what you need to take as an initiative is to know that tshuva cannot be processed in one jump. It has to be steps, one step after the other. In some of the cases, the steps are crucial when you're taking one after the other. In some of the cases, the steps the order doesn't matter so much. It's just taking the steps. Be'ezrat Hashem, Hashem will bless us and enlighten our ways so we can walk on this path and gain to do tshuva, real tshuva amitit, a real tshuva before our Father in heavens. Be'ezrat Hashem.